Okay. I'll keep my face off of it for a while. Get on once in a while.
Hey, gang, this is Andy over at the Facebook Live TV show. We are getting ready to hear. The recording has started. All right, we are having a very special opportunity here. I have a roving reporter on the ground over in Las Vegas. We got JT Ippolito. Joe, how are you out there in Las Vegas? How are things going?
Great, man. Learning everything that's the latest and greatest and bleeding edge and stuff that's going to upend the world.
Oh, really? I've been hearing some reports on the news, and they've been showing some pretty cool stuff. First, let's find out about you. What do you do, and why are you at CES? What's your strategy for being there at CES?
Great. Now I just spilled a drink all over. Well, that's a great way to start the night. I was wondering. I'm sitting here going, my pants are wet.
Wow. I don't know.
I go, I'm not that drunk today.
So the first thing we learned about JT Ippolito is that he has a drinking problem. So Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself. What is it you do?
Sure. 36 years in the IT business. Mm-hmm. Most of those years were with IBM. I always gravitated to the bleeding edge products that IBM was introducing to the marketplace.
Yep.
Because I wanted to see what was the next big thing, and I wanted to be the first in the market to sell it. Left IBM in 2005, started my own online marketing company, and we grew into reputation management for large corporations, meaning that your employee licks a stack of tacos or takes a bath in a restaurant sink. Instead of waiting 3 days and losing $20 million, we can find out, drill all the way down to the millions of people that saw it and find the person that did it and communicate with them directly to get it corrected.
Okay.
So we moved into that. Then we started Sync Media Network off of Media Marketing Management, which is what we're doing here. We're out at every single event and conference that has to do with technology. And what we do is report on the latest and greatest live so that you don't have to wait till the next morning or your evening news. And we broadcast it live. After that, we take it, we package it with the script, and then we turn around and sell the whole turnkey package to broadcast stations all around the country. And they just run it because they don't want to pay for news anymore. They just run it and read it.
Yeah. All right, cool. How come we don't see you on camera? What are you
I just thought I'd show you. I just thought I'd show you just a couple of things.
I thought you were hiding from the feds or something.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's Discovery Communications, and over here you're seeing all Turner Broadcasting. We're at the smallest venue for CES, which is the Entertainment, Media, and Content Pavilion, and this one's at the Aria Hotel. And the main convention is at the Convention Center, and that is so jammed that the only way I can describe it is you can faint and not hit the floor.
Wow.
And okay, I'll turn it around now.
Okay. So just in a nutshell, for those people that may not know what CES is, what is CES?
Well, they just changed the name to just CES. It used to be the Consumer Electronics Show, and they're celebrating their 50th year, and they said we're no longer going to call it CES, Consumer Electronics Show. It's just CES. 177,000 people from around the world looking at every latest gadget, whole pavilions for automobile, whole pavilions for VR, whole pavilions for fitness and athletes, whole pavilions just for TVs. So, I mean, you can imagine, and it's massive. And because we're media, we were allowed to press engagements 2 days before, where we got to see all the new product announcements before they were announced on the floor on Thursday.
Oh. What I understand from what I'm hearing is that a lot of the electronics are focusing on echo technology. What we get with Alexa in the Amazon product, where you can say, Alexa, turn on my television. Is that? And I understand they're doing that with cars. They're doing it with televisions. Is that pretty much what true?
That's where I was just being interviewed in the next room over at Amazon, just about 5 minutes before we went on the air. and it's anything and everything Alexa and Amazon, how to integrate advertising with it, and they showed it with integrated with the Ford, and they showed it on watches, on keychains, on glasses. It's Alexis everywhere. I mean, so you're walking down the street and talk to your glasses and say, Alexa, what's the weather? Crazy.
That's hysterical. Another funny thing is my Echo is right over here, and every time you or I say Alexa, she answers. I tell everybody that's my girlfriend because she's fantastic. She does everything for me and really doesn't talk back. And
that's right. And it's funny, as you walk through the different pavilions, if somebody says Alexa, they start going off all over the place.
Oh, that would be fun to walk through there and just say it over and over again.
Yep.
So is there any surprises? Is there anything that just really, knocked you over when you saw it?
Okay, I'll just give you the 4 highlights in one of the media events. Company called Hisense, which manufactures TVs. Okay, they coming out this year with a 75 and 80-inch television with a separate sound bar, and all the competition in the marketplace sells the 7K, not 4K.
What?
Sells it for $50,000.
There's not a camera that shoots 7K, is there?
Yeah. Competition sells them for $50,000. Mid-year, end of year, $12,000. Can you believe that?
No.
Chopping up the marketplace. The next big thing is VR. VR is really getting pushed this year. They have it anywhere and everywhere, and Intel did the greatest job with it. They had in their pre-media leather chairs set up by 2s, and you sat in a leather chair with an Oculus headset and a massive PC, that weighs 6 pounds, that has enough compute power to choke a horse. And they actually demonstrated the VR live. And what I mean by live is there's a huge solar farm on the way between Las Vegas and LA. And every day they have to go out there and inspect the tiles to make sure they're not correct. Well, a couple of years ago, you can't get humans out there because it's so damn hot. They started using drones, and they would fly up and down the rows and look for anything wrong. Well, now they've got it with VR that they can go up and down and inspect the tiles, go up, down, underneath, around, and back. So now a human never has to go back there to see what's wrong, where they only saw the fronts before. The next one that they did was they said, okay, now we own our own VR headset company. And mid-year, we're coming out with our own VR headsets that are totally untethered. No wires, no strings, no nothing. Everything is in the headset. And they showed that live by having 2 guys on stage in a living room playing video games, running around the living room. And to the right, they showed their avatars in the games that they were playing. They're saying no longer are you tied down. You can go anywhere you want to do VR without having to have equipment and wires and everything running around. That's going to be a massive change.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. VR is virtual reality technology.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Only because I'm not sure who watches and who knows the terminology and acronyms.
That's okay. Yep, you have to do it. Sometimes, we think it's normal speech, but somebody else was scratching their head.
Right. What the hell are they talking about?
Yeah.
I understand that there's I hope I'm not. Did you have something else you wanted to say on VR?
No, that's it.
I understand they have, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but a television that's actually about as thin as like wallpaper.
Yes, and you hang it on the wall with magnets.
Really? Does it look good? Does it have a good picture?
It looks better than a poster you used to stick on the wall. It's incredible. And so if you want to move your TV, you just take it off the magnets and bring it in the other room.
Yeah.
It weighs like less than a pound.
Okay. Well, I guess but the truth is the TV isn't all in that thin layer. It actually, it's wired to the guts of the television somewhere else, right?
Right. In actuality, it's wireless now.
Oh.
It's in the back of that little tiny thin panel.
Oh my gosh.
And so you don't see any wires anymore. It's like ridiculous. They're hiding everything.
Wow. I wonder how it would have taken a blow from the remote. My son, who's 6 years old, they have the little Apple TV remote, you know, that little thin, little
Sure.
tiny thing. Well, you use that for gaming, right? And you use it as a paddle when you're playing tennis on the
Sure.
tennis game. So he's playing tennis against the screen, and I'm thinking in my mind, I should tell him to be careful because that could slip out of his hand. Well, no longer than maybe 5 minutes after I had that thought, he was going for a forehand, I guess, for a winning shot, and it slipped out of his hand and hit right in the middle of the television set and broke the
Uh-huh.
television. So I'm wondering how that little thin TV would hold up to something like that.
It's almost damage proof because there really is nothing live. It's almost like a plastic film.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Not scratchable.
All right. So what else? Is there anything else that is not related to virtual reality, not related to a piece of paper as a television, or Alexa? Are there any other things that are out there, or is that just mainly what everybody's working on right now?
Um, you don't see too much. There really isn't that big of a push here for software, so
Mm,
that really isn't the thing. But everything is like your media on everything and anything you use. You know, whether you start with a TV, then an iPad, then a cell phone, you know, that type of environment, and view it the way you want to view it. Uh, Content is Amazon is coming out with more content that is going to be available for free within the next 6 months uh, to try to knock out Netflix. So we'll see how that
yeah.
happens. What else is I look around?
Is there much talk about live broadcasting, like what we're doing? Is there
Yes,
any information about
yes,
that?
a ton of stuff on streaming.
Really?
That's the only thing they're talking about. You know, that's what's funny. You know, being in the business so long, it's like, oh yeah, text was big and all this other stuff, and
Yeah.
now it's like, if it ain't video, it's not worth it. If you're not streaming, it's not worth it.
Really? Are there a lot of people walking around doing live streaming, like Facebook Lives and that kind of stuff? Is that pretty popular right now?
Yes, yes. And I think I told you that with our company, we walk around with the handheld gimbals from DJI. Well,
Yep.
we go over and we do a video interview, and we're standing next to the people that have the old television gear. There you go. That's exactly what it is. Works like a charm.
Yeah.
And they've got the $10,000 camera with the stand and the separate mics and all that other stuff. And I'm standing there going, I'm broadcasting live. And I go, yeah, we got to take it back, edit it, do all this other stuff. And I
Yeah.
click stop and I go, well, that's it. I just broadcasted live. And they start laughing and go, don't rub it in.
Yeah. Well, that's right now I'm using Blue Jeans, and Blue Jeans automatically makes a recording that goes onto their servers, and
Yep.
then they send me a link, and I could either share the link with somebody or download this episode that we're doing right now right down to my computer.
Yep.
And so being able to repurpose is so simple, either through a URL or at the actual file. It's fantastic. I mean, what we can do, and I'm looking at your picture right now, and you're simply on your phone inside a conference room in Las Vegas, and you look like super clear, and it looks like you're using a high-powered video camera.
Exactly. And that's all it is the iPhone 6 Plus.
All right. So, anything else that's going on out there besides margaritas and gin and tonics or whatever it is that you?
Let's see. Boy, it sure does flow. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Um, Trying to think if there's anything that was really major that came out. I think that was about the biggest thing. You know, the other stuff is like big deal. It's everybody's got, the dual washing machines, that type of stuff, and
Yep.
new refrigerators and stuff. Who cares? I only wanted to know the drones. The
Oh.
drones
Oh
are
yeah. I
amazing.
meant to ask about that.
The drones are amazing. That is so huge. I got to see a lot of different demonstrations. And a company we posted on YouTube under Sync Media Network. We have demonstrations of there's now Star Wars drones for each one of the characters, the light ships and all the other stuff. They are
Really.
actual drones, and I have one on. We put up on YouTube yesterday. It's incredible. They're more fun to play with than you can think of. And the drones have all sorts of cameras, all sorts of stability, all sorts of returns. And it's funny, the only one that felt a little bad, I was talking with the people at GoPro, and they go, yeah, this is our unreleased and not released version of the latest competition to Mavic by DJI. It's bombing so bad because of all the problems.
Oh, really?
Here it goes. When people chatted in a virtual reality environment for 20 minutes, how much time did they think actually passed?
Mm.
An hour. And there's a quiz thing over here on, on an 80-inch screen.
Oh, wow. Let's see, we got Nabi. Nabi's on. He says hi. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, Joe,
No,
but Nabi
that's
says
okay.
hi. And he says you're hot.
Yeah,
uh,
this turned into something, just like we said, you get into one thing in this business, next thing you know, you get turned on to something else, and
yeah,
you're off in another direction.
right, right. Dean Renfro is watching. Hey, Dean.
Oh, good.
And I thought I saw somebody else here.
The
Dean
usual
saying hi to Nabi.
suspects.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that they're, touting as far as what you can tell your car to do through voice recognition? Is there anything in particular?
Well, the new one, this I thought was interesting. We took a ride in the new Hyundai, and not only is it autonomous where it can drive itself, but it gives you more feeling of comfort because in the center of the dash, raised up as a little panel that tells you before it happens what the autonomous car is going to do. So that rather than just driving along and all of a sudden it slams on the brakes and you're wondering what the hell happened, this tells you, gives you a heads up of what's going to happen,
What?
so that you feel like okay, no biggie, I know what to expect.
So like if you're coming up to an intersection, it'll say
Right,
approaching intersection will be slowing down or something like that.
right.
Oh, that's
For
incredible.
collision avoid, and I thought that was brilliant because there takes out the element of surprise.
Does it say that you're getting ready to crash and die?
Oh
Is
yeah.
that? Just want to let you know that we're getting ready to crash. Don't worry about it. I've
Any
noticed
last
you've been
things you got
praying a
to
lot
say?
lately. You're going to go to heaven.
Any last things you want to tell your wife?
Yeah, I want to make a phone call.
And lastly, over the autonomous cars is, I should say, the only big thing in software is business intelligence and business analytics. I
Mm.
mean, I'm sitting here in a booth where they can tell you how much every single penny you spent on ads, where it ran, the time and seconds it ran, how many impressions, what was the reach, graph it all, and tell orange is the new black, what shows was just shown on, the frequency. And I'm sitting here going, you got to be kidding me. I mean, so that you don't waste a nickel anymore in your advertising.
Yeah. Yeah. Dean has told me what I've been thinking. And can you turn your phone sideways so we can get landscape instead of?
Oh, sure. I'd love to. I'd rather
There
have
you
that.
go. I just wasn't. I'm just glad Dean brought it up because, like, oh, I'll
That's
finally
all
tell
right.
him to do that. Are companies
Right.
like Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, are they there at all, or do they not come
No,
to something like this?
no.
Because I was wondering, because it seems like what about Google?
Google's here with their products.
What
Here,
so
I'm going to
the
turn this around and let you see this while we're talking.
yeah,
Um, what was I going to say? Yeah,
Google.
the
We were talking
companies
about
that
Google.
have hardware are here. The companies that just have software, not
Yeah.
so much. Um, but what we're finding out is, and we call it in the industry, hardware is eating software, and software is eating hardware. In other words, each one is trying to gobble up the other one's
Mhm.
place. In other words, new hardware is coming out, so that means software can really take advantage of it. And then new software is coming out, and we got to have the hardware to go along with it, that type of thing. And it's just a blur of what's going on. It's incredible.
Well, one of the things that made Apple so powerful, unlike a PC, and what drew me to Apple 25 years ago or so, is that they made both the hardware and the software, so that almost guaranteed that the two of those things would work well together and seamlessly together. That anytime you plug the hardware into, the Apple hardware, that it would just simply work. Um, and the problem with PCs, at least what I found, is that you had somebody in Korea creating software that was trying to go into a computer that was created, by Dell, and not always did they work and play well together. Um,
Yep.
so
Well,
I think,
that was the old days in the computer industry. Somebody would call them and say, "Hey, my screen's not working." You go, "Well, it's not our hardware. Call the
yeah,
software company."
yeah,
And you'd be stuck in the middle, and you call the hardware company. Goes, "Not us." And then you're sitting there going, "Now what the hell do I do?" So that still exists. And
yeah,
although we fought it for many years, we called what Apple does a closed environment. But in reality, it's so simple that the closed environment, you buy into it because you know it's never not going to work together.
Right. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see.
And now you see that IBM is working closely with Apple to cross-pollinate in the different sizes of business. But now the other thing is IBM just announced they no longer have to, employees have to get Lovano notebooks. They can now get Apples. There goes the whole company.
One thing I just was thinking about as we were talking about Google, Amazon, with everything that they have going on between the Echo, Amazon Prime, video, all that kind of stuff. What's their main focus there? Is it just simply the Echo, or are they trying to bring all those things together?
Actually, what I noticed in that room over there is that they're trying to merge them all together.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it because it's not that hard of what they're thinking of doing.
Yeah. They're so powerful.
Yes.
Amazon.
And I attended the AWS concert. Jesus, where the hell am I? Convention about 2 weeks ago, and that's all of AWS is the cloud for Amazon.
Yeah.
Sorry, no more drinking. That's the cloud for Amazon, and there were 45,000 people there just to things to do on the cloud with Amazon because they run so many websites and everything off of their systems.
I love watching the power plays between the big ones like Facebook and Google and Amazon. And I was watching Game of Thrones here, and as I was watching, I was thinking, the next broadcast, I'm gonna have my green screen here in the background. And I'm gonna have the opening of Game of Thrones, and then talk about all in the social media makeup is kind of like all these kingdoms all competing and combating against one another, and wanting the space, right? It's like these castles that the wars they were having, they're trying to gain land, right, and power and all that kind of stuff. It really seems like a Game of Thrones in the world of virtual reality, the echo technology. I call it echo technology. I don't know what else to call it, but that seems to be what's happening now. They're just all really fighting each other for leadership.
Exactly, and I met one of the guys, one of the Norsemen from Game of Thrones. He was here at one of the conventions, and the whole town is in the show. And he had on all his costume that he was wearing. He goes, the town is now being a tourist attraction. People are coming all over, and everybody dresses up like the Game of Thrones. Yeah. And he was here, and we were playing a sword fight in the whole 9 yards. He goes, I'll tell you what. He goes, in another 2 months, we're coming out with Game of Thrones wine. And I go, of course. Natural extension to the product.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, they drink a lot of wine on that show, so it makes sense. I was in Northern Ireland. I have a training facility out there in Northern Ireland, and then right down the street from the training is one of the castles they use for Game of Thrones. Right. And you could just walk right up to it, and they use obviously a lot of technology, CGI, to make it bigger and look more impressive because it's really in ruins. But it says right there, this castle's used in episodes of Game of Thrones, and I already forgot which one it was, but
and they're now doing tours of that area.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. All right, anything else? Are we missing anything else there at CES?
Not that I can think of. Maybe over the weekend when I sober up, I'll come up with more. We could do it. We could do another one of these.
It's almost like I'm interviewing Dean Martin at CES.
Well, you know what? Everybody always says the same thing about Dean Martin as me. Dean Martin always used to say in Italian, "manifregista," and manifregista means someone who just doesn't give a fuck.
You may be the first person to say the F word on my show, and I don't have any delay here. That's awesome.
Okay. Well, we'll edit that out.
Yeah, sure. Too late. It's already gotten out. Nabi says, "Hey Andy, the future of live streaming is more secure as Google has just announced Hangouts disappears April 25th. So Google Hangouts are going away on April 25th. That's good to know because I hate Google Hangouts.
I kind of figured that when they went to live, it's just like, okay, that means the earlier one's dead.
Yeah. Hey, well, I appreciate it. How much is this the last day of CES, or does it run through the weekend?
Sunday.
Oh,
See,
Sunday.
Las Vegas was smart. They used to hold it Monday through Thursday, and with a lot of the major conventions now, they push the people to have it like Wednesday through Sunday because they want that weekend money. And I go,
Oh,
they're smart. You know, what are you going to do?
yeah.
Everybody's got to get their nickel.
Yeah. Las Vegas must love this convention because
Oh,
it's gigantic.
okay.
Next year, I'm finally going to go. I keep every year I say, "Gosh darn it, I'm going to go," and I never do. But now with you there, I
Well,
can go down as your press partner.
press partner and stay at my house to save a ton of money.
All right,
And
what am
I,
I?
Everett's coming down for Interdrone in another month or so, which is 100% everything and anything to do with drones.
Yep.
So he's going to be staying at my place.
Well, I had a drone, but I lost it in the recent divorce. I don't know how that happened. It got taken out of my garage. Damn it.
Oh, that way. I thought you meant it just went off into the wilderness.
No, it was here when I left. I went to Nebraska. I came back and everything was gone, including my drone. Um,
The
but
drones that I've seen are down to like hummingbird size and act just like a hummingbird.
really,
Fast, and now they can go into enemy windows rather than just looking from the outside.
yeah.
They can go in and look around any window and then just guide the bomb right where it has to go.
Well, I saw that on an episode of what was that on? It was on an episode of I want to say Homeland, but I don't think it was Homeland, where they had a little, like you said, a hummingbird fly in there and land and watch them as they were strapping on a suicide vest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my corporate customers, Aero Environment, was the one
Is
that
that
developed
was
it for
that's
the
real?
government.
That's real
Oh,
technology?
yes. Oh, yes.
I'm gonna cuss right now. Get the F out of here.
No joke. When I went to
Wow.
visit their corporate office, the executive office are on the second floor in a big square on the edge of the building, and the whole inside of the building, the 2 stories, is R&D. And I'm walking down the hallway going to the CIO's office, and I go,
Mm.
something's following me. And I look over to the R&D area, nothing. And I walk a couple more steps, and I go, something's following me. I look over, nothing. Then I just stood there. Next thing I know, coming up from under the window was the little uh, drone, which was the size of a hummingbird, just floating with a camera on it.
Wow.
And he
That's
goes, you
crazy.
can't talk about that. And I go, what?
That's pretty awesome. Well, I've had 3 different drones, and I found that the lighter drones were way more difficult for me to fly when the wind started to pick up a little bit, and the heavier ones were, could deal with just about anything. So it'd be
Correct.
interesting to find because I've had small, big ones, but anyway, the technology of drones is fantastic, and it just hurts my heart to think that I don't have my drone. I had 2 of those damn things, and they're both missing in action.
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole. Hey,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you taking the time between drinks.
Yeah. It's like, can we get this over with at 6:10 and I don't have a drink?
So sorry.
I'm sitting in my drink.
Well, this has been the most entertaining for me broadcast yet. Now that you have the app on your phone, would you mind if I try to get a hold of you over the weekend to see while you're walking around, and maybe we could take a look into some of the vendors'
Oh,
booths while
sure.
you're there? Is that possible?
Happy to do it. Yes.
Okay.
Because that's what I've been doing is broadcasting live and then immediately uploading it to YouTube under Sync Media Network, and immediately going to Periscope, and we're sending it off to all the different ways we can send it off.
Yeah. Well, I really love to see that really thin television. I don't know why. It just intrigues me that they.
Well,
they have...
it's freaky because we're so non-accustomed to it.
Yeah, yeah, and it may be the drones or maybe even whatever, but anything that you think is exciting.
Sure. I stayed away from like the car pavilion. I go, who wants to see that?
Yeah, anything's exciting. I wish I could be there, but I'm just really interested in seeing where we're going and what I've been hearing.
You know what? A good idea. Let's do this for all the different conventions that come up here. We'll do
Sounds
one
good.
session for every convention. There's IBM's one. There's Oracle's ones. There's all these huge conventions where we get the latest and greatest stuff. Might as well do one for each one.
Yeah, outstanding. I agree.
Okay.
Let's ink it. All right, perfect. All right, well, you have a good night, and I'm gonna go grab a glass of wine for myself, and a glass of wine. It's like I haven't had a drink yet. A glass of wine for
That's
myself,
right.
and maybe I'll talk to you tomorrow or Sunday. That'd be awesome.
Okay,
All right.
thanks. I
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Joe.
This is a great idea.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Nabi and Dean and whoever else decided to join us. We'll see you guys hopefully over the weekend. All right, take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you stopped by, and I'm glad we're relaxed. Always. Always. She's like, I don't know. Totally. Oh, yeah. Right before my flight. Um,
Hey, Joe. I don't know if you can hear me.
Is this thing still on?
Yes, you just need to shut it down.
Jesus Christ.
That's
Thank God
okay.
I didn't say anything. How the hell do I get out of here?
I'll do it. I got it now. I came back on to log you out.
Good thing I was in the restroom. Come on.